very warm welcome and thank you so much for coming to the Teddy Awards and bringing this film to the Teddy Awards, of course, too.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me.
So where did you shoot the film?
We shot the film in Brandenburg, which is the location, the area around Berlin, in a friend's house, a huge cottage full with Baroque furniture and all kinds of amazing objects.
Naja, zumindest es hat ja funktioniert, dass wir alle, wirklich alle da waren. Wir haben es wirklich geschafft, alle zusammen dahin zu kommen. Das fand ich ja schon mal ganz gut. Aber der Anlass war ja jetzt nicht irgendeiner, sondern wir haben uns getroffen, um an Franz zu denken und vielleicht auch mal was zu verarbeiten und das mal an uns ranzulassen. Aber daran sind wir, glaube ich, gescheitert. Weil wir es nicht geschafft haben, uns zu öffnen.
Ich glaube, das war ein Winter oder der Winter, bevor der letzte Winter, den wir zusammen erlebt haben. Da sind wir zusammen spazieren gegangen, ja, hier in Berlin am Fluss entlang, und die ganze Stadt war vereist. Man konnte so, wie sagt man, schlittern auf dem Eis. Und dann kamen wir eine große Straße und es war so Rush Hour, unglaublich viel Verkehr, und wir kamen nicht rüber über die Straße. Und irgendwann war eine ganz kleine Lücke, und dann hat er mich ganz fest an der Hand gepackt und wir sind über die Straße gerannt. Das war eigentlich auch schon alles. Aber das war irgendwie schön. Das war so, ich habe mich gefühlt wie 12 Jahre und so fest in seiner Hand. Das hat irgendwie gut getan, dass einen jemand so an der Hand fasst und über die Straße bringt.
And I think what's very particular about your film is that you come from a documentary background also, right?
Yeah,
You've done a documentary too.
Yeah.
And how far do you think this influenced this particular project?
Oh, very much. I think fiction is another kind of documentary as well. I mean, when actors are acting, they're not just pretending something; they are something. And if a fiction film documents their acting or documents their being, so documentary fiction are very, very close to each other. This specific project, we used observation a lot and improvisation to create a feeling of truthfulness. So I think it's a very good mix of documentary elements and fiction elements, if you want to. I mean,
and how much do you discuss with actors beforehand? What kind of discussions, conversations are going on?
All kinds of conversations about the subject, about the roles, about the relationships, about the circumstances, about the time, the place. I mean, yeah, we talk about everything. I really believe in actors, and I have very big respect for their work, and I try to give them as much freedom as possible. So if they are going to use this freedom, they have to know a lot of stuff. They have to know their boundaries. They have to know the place they are, so they can act freely and be truthful.
And for this story, where does your inspiration come from? Is it?
No, it's not a personal experience. It's a memory. The film talks a lot about the idea of suicide, and when you're young, when you're in your 20s or even younger, when you're in a teenager age, one often thinks of killing themselves. You know, in every heartbreak and every difficult moment, you think, oh, why don't I just kill myself, you know? And it's all about me, and how is the world going to react? How are my friends what are my friends going to think, and who am I for them, and do they love me? And then when you have all these thoughts, then hopefully you say, oh, well, I don't need to kill myself because I'm going to cry. And so it comes out of a place that I know. Suicide, death interests me just a lot.
So how does this death and suicide and the fact that someone has committed suicide in your particular story influence those characters?
A lot. They go to this place to commemorate. They go to this place to think of their loss, to deal with their loss, to think of their lost friend. And it's very difficult for them. They cannot understand it, because who can understand death? I mean, it's a very difficult thing. And what they do is they fall in love with each other, they sleep with each other, they kiss each other, looking for warmth and love, one can say. So they indulge in their sexuality and in drugs and in alcohol, so they can forget that they're going to die. It's the first confrontation with the reality of death, and it's very tough. And I completely understand that for a lot of people the only remedy against it is just having sex or being numb and drink a lot of alcohol and just live in excess. So that's what the film is also about.
So how long did you shoot in the countryside?
Very short, very short. We shot for 2 weeks. It was all improvised. We didn't have a script. We just have this idea, and we discussed a bit about the relationships of the people and who these people are. And we just shot and shot and shot for 2 weeks. I don't know, we worked for 20 hours a day, I guess, or something like that. It was very tough, but it was fun. It was really great fun.
So how do you, especially with such a project, how do you work in the editing room? You know, when you have all this material, you don't really have a script, there's not a structure yet, probably. How do you, maybe you can talk about this process?
Yeah, it's a long process. Yes. It took me 2 years to edit this film because we shot again and we shot the interviews and stuff. And basically you write the script, or you try to combine associatively the elements that will make a film out of it. In the editing room, it takes forever. We didn't shoot a lot. We didn't shoot a lot of material. We tried a lot of stuff, but we shot a little bit more than that than the film contains. But it's a long process. I mean, you have to try a lot of different versions of the film to see what works best, which is the final version. So it's like a battlefield.
So, but how did the structure evolve? Was it throughout the 2 years, or did you just view the material and then you already have a rough idea, or like?
We were editing while we were shooting, actually. We shot something somewhere in the middle, and then we woke up in the next morning all together and looked at it and said, so how does it go on? So we shot stuff that bring the story forward, but we also shot a little bit of what happened before. I mean, it all evolves around the shooting. We edited while we were shooting, and then I re-edited again and again and again and again after I left, after we stopped shooting.
So how has the crew seen the film, or they probably have seen the film already?
Yes, they have.
So how did they? How did they? You know, I don't know if you could realize or see how they feel about this finished.
Well, it's very difficult for any actor to see themselves up there. These people are very young. They're in their 20s. Well, not very young, but they're young, and they are beginning their career right now. They're young actors and actresses, so it's tough for them to see the film. But I think they loved it. I think they were very proud of themselves and very proud of the whole project, because when we started, we didn't really set out to make a film. We set out to experiment, to have fun, to act freely, stuff like that. And then it came out to be a film. So we're like, okay, wow, great.
And how about the audience?
Oh, the audience was we just had one screening. It was a very tough screening. It was half the audience loved the film and half the audience hated the film. I don't know if it's half or more, whatever. But it was not an anonymous, hey, great, fantastic. It really split the audience into, which I can completely understand, because it's a film that is very silent, has very little dialogue, has a lot of people singing and dancing and kissing. So somebody can say, well, what is this about? I don't get it. There's a lot of atmosphere, so if you don't let yourself go with the atmosphere, then I guess it doesn't work for you. I understand.
What were the critical points? You already mentioned some, but what were the points that you know where you felt this was kind of hated in a way by the audience?
I think there's some people will refuse to see that a lot of people are not able to be sad or to express emotions. And when you're confronted with with this reality, especially here in Germany, when you're confronted with the reality of emotional cold or distance, then I think it somehow concerns you. And if you can't abstract and take distance from yourself, then you kind of feel insulted, I guess. You kind of feel, well, what is this about? Why is nobody being sad the proper way? So, but I see a lot of people that are not being sad the proper way or cannot even feel anything. So it touches, I think, a soft spot in a lot of people. But to be honest, if it makes people angry, that's also great.
Of course, yeah.
Because it's an emotion. What I would hate it is if people came out and said, well, lovely, what's next, what's for dinner? But if they go out and say, this film is terrible, we hate it, that's good. That's a good reaction to have. It's emotional.
What questions came up from the audience?
What questions? Yeah, well, all the practical stuff, how we shot it, how did we manage to make these people be so free? Because a lot of people think it is a documentary, and they say, well, how is it that they feel so active, act so freely in front of the camera? What were the conditions? How did you do it? Stuff like that about about the interviews. Why did I use interviews, and what do they mean? Did I mean to confuse people, or do I mean to clarify something? If this person really existed, if we all had a common dead friend that we put in the center and said this is him, or because when the characters talk about this dead person, they all have a completely different view. They're talking about somebody completely different, which is great, which I encouraged as well. So stuff like that.
And you just mentioned that sometimes, you know, I mean, of course, there's not only a German audience because it's an international festival.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that it might have been a little bit difficult for some Germans to accept this cold or something.
Yeah.
And I was wondering what reasons that could have, cultural reasons or something.
Well, like I said, I mean, it has to do with age, it has to do with self-reflection, it has to do with because these people in the film, they're not necessarily all lovely, charming, lovable kids. They are, some of them are lost, some of them are cold, some of them cannot express anything, some of them are just frustrated. It's not a film where you feel, oh, these poor people, they're so sad and they really love this person, so you go with them, you empathize. You can kind of go, well, I don't really like them, they're narcissistic and they are overdramatic and they are just being stupid, which is what we all are when we're very, very young. You know, the world evolves around us, we do overdramatized stuff, and it's not specific German, it's not something that's specific German, but it's something that we don't really like seeing a lot of times. We want to idolize and idealize the youth and being young.
But that's good, isn't it, in a way too?
It is, it's great. It's great when you're young. When you're older, you can see it with a bit of a distance. I'm not so young anymore, so I can take a critical look, I guess.
So
and I can still enjoy it.
What is the critical
it.
look about? Like, what if you said you've experienced it yourself personally? Of course, this maybe change in perspective. How is that?
Yeah, well, when you're young, when I was young, I was very, very dramatic. I would think, somebody would leave me. I would have a heartbreak, and I would say, life has no meaning anymore. This is gone. This was the first and only love, and I will have to kill myself now. So stuff like that, which seems stupid now when you watch it. You say, okay, come on, give me a break. You can forget everybody. You can do anything you want. But in the moment, you feel it's very important. And of course, for the rest of the world, it's quite annoying when you kind of over-dramatize. Say, I'll take a walk in the woods and, see if anybody's watching, if I'm being dramatic or something.
How did this project influence maybe your future work, or what did you take out of it that you will?
We tested a lot of stuff. My cameraman Johannes Louis and I, we tested a lot of stuff. How we can use the camera, what kind of freedom we will allow actors to have, and still have a very specific aesthetic, because the film is improvised. When you watch an improvised film, most of the times people run around with a camera trying to get every possible thing. And we said we're gonna do something completely different. We're gonna have the camera want to have a very elegant look to the film. We wanted to have a very specific compositional touch to it, but still have actors be free and truthful. So this is something I experienced there. I tried it, I saw it work, and I'll take it to my next film. The aesthetic the way of working with actors and the way of combining the camera with this kind of acting.
So what is this next project? What might it be about?
Oh, it's a project. It's going to be shot in the summer. It's financed from German television, and we're shooting a film in Greece in the summer, and it's about personal relationships and work relationships. How is it working and living at the same place? How is it being someone's housekeeper and be family as well? And what happens when you get sick? What happens when you're not able to work anymore? It sounds like a social drama, but it's going to be a melodrama.
A melodrama.
Melodramatic, of course. What else?
Great. Thank you very much.
You're very
really
welcome.
Appreciate
Thank
your
you,
visit
thank you.
and have a great time at the festival.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you.
Thanks. Very warm welcome and thank you so much for coming to the Teddy Awards and bringing this film to the Teddy Awards, of course, too.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me.
So where did you shoot the film?
We shot the film in Brandenburg, which is the location, the area around Berlin, in a friend's house, a huge cottage full.
Naja, zumindest es hat ja funktioniert, dass wir alle, wirklich alle da waren. Wir haben es wirklich geschafft, alle zusammen dahin zu kommen. Das fand ich ja schon mal ganz gut. Aber der Anlass war ja jetzt nicht irgendeiner, sondern wir haben uns getroffen, um an Franz zu denken und vielleicht auch mal was zu verarbeiten. Und
bevor der letzte Winter, den wir zusammen erlebt haben, da sind wir zusammen spazieren gegangen, ja, hier in Berlin am Fluss entlang, und die ganze Stadt war vereist. Man konnte so, wie sagt man, schlittern auf dem Eis. Und dann kamen wir in eine große Straße und es war so Rush Hour, unglaublich viel Verkehr, und wir kamen nicht rüber über die Straße.
With baroque furniture and all kinds of amazing objects.
das mal an uns ranzulassen, aber daran sind wir, glaube ich, gescheitert. Weil wir es nicht geschafft haben, uns zu öffnen.
Ich glaube, das war ein Winter oder der Winter